Hey, Chrissy here. I am a landscape architect and the owner of Kismet Design. I am a very process driven designer, and I love sharing what I do and how I do it with anyone who's interested. Reaching your true potential and achieving your own personal goals will not happen by chance. You have to set your intentions, make a plan, and do the work. Thank you for joining me to nerd out on design. Don't forget to subscribe and to share too. Let's create something great together.
This morning, as I winced trying to sip my coffee and keep the heating pad on my neck, I decided to postpone the topic I had originally outlined to record. I'll get to that next time. Why the heat pad, you might wonder? Well, apparently I'm so old that I can get debilitatingly hurt just by sleeping. I always toss and turn in my sleep, and the onset of hot flashes has only made that worse. But the other morning, when I woke up feeling extra stiff, and when I went to stretch out, something felt like it snapped in my neck, and nothing I tried made it any better. What I had on the agenda for that day didn't help either. Yep, you guessed it, a plant set. Well, I made it through the plant set with the help of the amazing crew that put up with my pointing and shifting and pointing and shifting as they placed plants for me. By the time I got home, though, I was feeling way worse and no longer felt like I could just keep pushing through. I was starting to get numbness in my fingers and my arm. I've had a crook in my neck before like this, but never this bad. And typically a little heat, little stretching, and it's mostly better by the evening. This was not that. So I went to the doctor, and not only did they freak me out initially by telling me that they were concerned that the numbness in my hand could be signs of a heart attack, thankfully, that was confirmed not to be the case. They confirmed that I have a pinched nerve in my neck. So that has dramatically changed my entire week. I have had to pivot some meetings, pivot in how I set plants, and choose against my nature, slow down a little bit and take some rest versus just pushing through and making things happen even when I'm not feeling well. Normally, that is what I do. I can push through being sick and I come out the other end unscathed. I don't know if it's me getting older or wiser, or maybe it just hurts more now. I don't know. But I don't mind going to the doctor when needed. But I felt really silly going for an injury that honestly it's probably been building. But to me, the injury was from just sleeping weird. Seems ridiculous. But it doesn't feel ridiculous. So today, as I record this, I have chosen to slow down and rest a bit. I rescheduled my afternoon meetings so that I can try and rest up and heal. And I know that if I slow down and if I take the chance to rest, I will heal faster. And as I typed the email to my client, I typed it like 3 times before I sent it, asking them to reschedule. It shouldn't be that hard. But I never want to disappoint, and I know you know the feeling. I know that it was the right choice, and as expected, the client is super understanding. Not that I expected anything else. I like to, when I say I'm going to do something on a certain day, I want to do it, I want to deliver, and it's hard to backtrack and say, sorry, I'm not going to be able to do what I promised. But sometimes you just have to, and it's hard to know when the time is to push and when the time is to stop and take rest. But this has been a valuable experience in helping me really have that conversation with myself. And sometimes the best choice, I need to hear it as much as I know you do, is to take the time to rest. And I know as entrepreneurs and business owners, it's hard. And especially as a parent, it's hard because you just operate in a way where you push through pain, you push through sickness and stress, and you take it all on, sometimes to your own detriment, but you just have to make things happen sometimes. And sometimes that is the case, but sometimes you need to rest. So I know that if I pushed through that meeting and didn't postpone it, I would be hurting so much worse by the end of the day. I also know that with how much pain I was in, my client would not be getting the best out of me. And I wouldn't be delivering the experience or the attention to detail or the thoroughness that I want to in those meetings. And so that's something to consider as well if you do come into circumstances where you do need to say, hey, I just need to postpone this, and at risk of throwing a wrench in my schedule next week, I know it's totally worth it today. There have been so many times in my life and in my career where I have not made that choice to rest when I should. Coming back to work probably earlier than I should have after both of my kids were born, after having surgery and the doctor telling me to take off 6 to 8 weeks, and I took a week and a half off and then came back to work, and I wasn't going to meetings and walking on job sites, but I was still sitting at a desk with a heat pack or an ice pad and, with my feet up, when really I should have been at home in bed. And you don't always think about those things when they're happening. And sometimes it's a financial decision. And yes, in most of those circumstances, I needed to work. I didn't have the financial stability that I do now, where I could take some time off and not stress about that lost income. And so, now that I have that freedom given to me by being my own boss, I don't have that expectation of myself, and I shouldn't. One of the things that I love about being an entrepreneur is that I can make my own schedule. I can take off early on a Wednesday and go help out at the kids' school or take them to a doctor's appointment, and I don't have to ask anybody for permission. I just make my own schedule, and I can do pickups and drop-offs at school, and I can choose to go to yoga in the middle of the day on a Friday if I want to. So why is it so hard to take off time when you don't feel well? I don't know. It's a mind game, and I know you're all there with me, and I know you've all felt that, and especially when you have to reschedule something with a client, there's some guilt there. So I don't know if it's helpful or not, but if what I say really matters that much, but I give you permission to take that time to do what's best for you. I mean, that is why you're doing this. I mean, you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner because you want to build a business that feeds and fuels the life that you want to live. Being a slave to your business is not any better than working a 9-to-5 job with zero flexibility. And so it's not worth the extra stress of being an entrepreneur if you don't get the benefits of being an entrepreneur and making your own schedule and taking time off when you want to and when you need to. So for anyone that needs to hear it, take the time to rest when you need to.
To wrap up, I want to thank you for your time. I hope the ideas discussed today have left you feeling excited and energized. As I build both my business and my life, I value the support and feedback you provide. I would love for you to reach out to me to let me know what you think, give me ideas, or just to connect. Please don't forget to subscribe and also share with a friend. Until next time, go create something wonderful.